Hey, what's up, YouTube? Hey, welcome back to the channel, man. I really appreciate you stopping back in. I always appreciate whenever you click on my videos. You know why? Because you didn't have to. You could have clicked on somebody else's video, right? So I appreciate you being here. All right, we're gonna jump right into this thing. Y'all see the title, Education for Young People, right? Um, we're gonna dive into this thing, and I wanna throw out a few things real quick though before we start, and that is don't get triggered, okay? I want you to open up your mind a little bit when I'm talking, because what I don't want you assuming is that I'm assuming, okay? I'm not assuming anything. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you about my experiences. I'm gonna tell you some things that I've seen. I may be speaking as if I'm telling you how things are gonna go for you. I'm not. I'm telling you what I've seen, what I've experienced, and some of these things I want you to experience, and some of these things I hope you don't experience. Okay. So I just wanted to throw that out there before we start, because sometimes people watch a video and somebody just start talking about something and it sounds so general, and you start thinking that they're talking about you or that they're talking down on someone. Not the case. All my videos are for an option for you, just an option. Whether or not you take it, that's your decision. Okay. So as I've always said, on this channel, my videos are really for young people. And the reason why is because I believe that as we get older, that we need to reach back. We need to make sure that we tell them what we know. Okay. Hey, you don't have to be all fancy. You can see me. Hey, I'm here with a hat on, with a hoodie. I'm not trying to be overly fancy about this. I'm having a conversation with my people, and let's chop it up. Okay. We live in a ever changing, ever evolving world. Ever changing and ever evolving world. The jobs of yesterday are not going to be the jobs that we have tomorrow. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? Not necessarily the actual job, but the way the job is done. Here's an example of something I want you to consider. You ever went to a restaurant maybe 10 years ago? Did you go to a restaurant maybe 10, 15 years ago where they're using iPads to take your order? Probably not, right? And I know, I get it. Not all restaurants are using that method, but you go to restaurants now and they're taking your order. And if you got a big enough table, before they get around the table, you already got people bringing the food out, because they don't need you. They don't need that person to go back to another machine and type the information in that goes back to the back. Okay, so somebody got smart and created a system that sped up that process and made things a little bit more efficient. Okay, that could be you. That could be you, the person who came up with that idea. That could be you. I always say this: you want to make $1 million pretty fast? Okay, I tell you how to do it. Solve $1 million problem. Voila. Voila, there it is. Solve $1 million problem and you'll get $1 million, because the knowledge that you have and the way that you execute that knowledge, right, will determine what the value is. Okay. So you could be the smartest person in the world, but if you're executing poorly, then the value is poor. Therefore, you won't be getting paid that much for your knowledge and for your skill sets. Okay. So those jobs of tomorrow that I was talking about, they're going to require either degrees or certifications. Degrees and certifications. One of the two you're going to need to have. Whether it's a college degree, a bachelor's degree, hey, there's nothing wrong with an associate's degree. I know plenty of people who that's all they have is an associate's degree. And they're out here in this world and they're doing just fine. Okay? Something to consider. Okay? Because you can always go back later and get the bachelor's degree, because you already have the associates. These classes, you don't have to take those classes again. Now you just got to go and take the classes to get you your bachelor's degree. That's for later. Okay? What about certifications? You can go online and get certifications. If you want to be a project manager, you can go online and they got project management courses all over the place now. Okay? Get certified to be a project manager. Just so you know, assistant project managers start off about 70. Project managers start off about 110. Obviously it depends on the project and depends on, the market. The more rural the place is, the less, the money's going to be. But, you start getting closer to the cities and the bigger, the bigger projects, you're making a lot of money. Okay. You're making a lot of money. So I'm throwing that out there, not to say go be a project manager, but just, again, options. Keep your mind open. Okay. So what am I saying as far as, the education certification? Education is going to be vitally important for your lifelong success. Over the course of a year, over the course of a lifetime, man, $1 million, almost $1 million more is what someone who's advanced degrees, meaning bachelor's degrees or more, they make almost $1 million more than someone with a high school diploma over the course of a lifetime. Okay, $1 million. That's a lot of money. And the reason why they make almost $1 million is because when you're making 50, they're probably making 120, 150. Now do the math over the course of 10, 20, 30 years, there it is. There it is right there. So put yourself in the driver's seat so that you can be on that end of the spectrum and not on the other end of the spectrum. Now, if you're okay with what you make, and this video is probably not for you. I'm talking to the people who maybe want to do something important with their life after they get out of high school, and the ones that's already out of high school that feels like, man, I don't have, the education and knowledge, to be in the room with some of these people that are making all this money. Well, don't ever discount yourself. Don't ever discount yourself. All right, we're gonna pause right here because I'm gonna tell you something. Here's something I noticed. My maturity level when I graduated high school advanced when I got out here in this world, because everything was funny, fun and games, friends, girls, Friday night football games, hanging out, parties, blah blah blah. All that was your life. Then once you graduate, you get out here in this world. Mom and dad start saying what they're not going to pay for anymore. All of a sudden, all that swag that you had, you realize you didn't have any swag. You had mommy and daddy swag. They were the ones who were keeping you in them Jordans. They were the ones that was keeping you in the nice clothes that you wear. Because one of the things I realized is when my kids got old enough to get out here in this world, all of a sudden the clothes that we was buying for them, they ain't buy that stuff for themselves. They weren't buying themselves $150 tennis shoes and Jordans. They weren't doing that. They were happy with it because we was getting it for them. Now when you got to pay for yourself, all of a sudden you start, man, hold up. If I give $110, I don't have any money left. Exactly. So keep that in mind, okay? But when you went to kindergarten, the drum should have been being beat, right? Starting then. Hey, school's important. And I get it. There are some parents that they barely finished high school, or they didn't go to college, so they don't have the skills, they don't have the knowledge to be able to pour that same information back into their kids. So they end up not saying anything, and their kids end up not going to school, not going to college, because they don't have anybody who cares about them. They can tell you, yeah, you need to go to college, but they can't even tell you how to get there, how to get to college. And that's just a fact, okay? That's a fact. Truth be told, that was my story. My mom or my dad, neither one of them graduated, neither one of them went to college. So how are they gonna tell me how to get to college? Okay. My dad, he graduated high school, but my mother didn't. She went back and got her GED later. Okay. But notice how I said she went back and got it later. Why do you think she went back and got her GED later? Because she realized that the money that she was making, she needed to make more money. So she went and got more education. Then she went back and started taking college courses after that, after she got a GED. Why? Because she knew she needed to make more money. And you're gonna see that that's a trend. You're gonna realize that that's something that people are doing. Okay. It's gonna be something that is gonna be weighing on your mind, especially those of you who are in the workforce right now. When can I go back to school? When should I go back to school? Should I go back to school? It's gonna be weighing on you. especially when you start to see people who you feel you could do a job better than, and they're moving up. And all of a sudden you realize, oh, they got the job because they got a degree or they got these certifications that I don't have. So again, you have to prioritize your life. What's important, okay? Is it important that you spend, $400, $500 to go to an NFL football game, or take that same $400 or $500 and take this course that's going to help make you more money so you can easily pay for that NFL football game ticket? These, again, it's just about prioritization, okay? And you have to be thinking about that stuff. So just keep that in mind. So here's some important considerations for you to just think about. Degrees cost money, and a lot of it. So I mean, some of your smaller schools now cost as much as it cost to go to Harvard back in the 1920s. Okay, now notice I said 1920s for Harvard. It's because it's a lot to go to Harvard now. Okay, but when you're paying $15,000, $20,000 a year to go to a college, do the math times 4. So now you pay $80,000 and you don't even have an $80,000 job, but you got to pay the loan back because, you see what I'm saying? So I know I said it's gonna cost a lot, and there are people who graduated in the 90s and the early 2000s who are still paying for their degrees today. This is not a deterrent for you not to go. Again, something to think about, okay? Don't waste your time and money if you're not super serious. Don't go to college until you are ready to go to college, because when you go to college, it's to go to college. Okay? If you can't hang out with your friends and do the work that's required to be there, then maybe you're not mature enough. And it's okay if you pump the brakes, wait until you get to a better place from a maturity standpoint, and then you can go ahead and go. Okay? Maybe you can't go, to day classes, because you're out here in this workforce. Maybe you got to go to night classes. I never seen anybody look at my resume and say, "Oh, you went to night classes?" Because it's not on there. It's not on there. It doesn't say night class. It just says that I got a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. That's all. So just keep that in mind as well, okay? So how do you choose the type of education that you want or the type that you need? And so here's some questions that you need to ask yourself. First, what do you like to do? I mean, what is it that interests you? Because think about it. If you're a photographer, if you like taking pictures, let's say you're 12, 13 years old and you just like taking pictures, and you take that energy all the way through high school and you really enjoy it. You think maybe you should go to school for videography, things of that nature, something that you really enjoy? Yes. Why? Because it's going to be a driver for you. You're doing the thing that you love the most. A lot of people don't know what they like because, again, it's from a maturity standpoint, especially in the young men. Okay, we mature a little bit later than the women, and so we don't. Life don't start kicking us in the face until we're 18, 19 years old, when we start realizing, oh, I just graduated high school. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. Whereas the girls, they're thinking, and as freshmen, oh, I graduated in 4 years. Well, I wonder what college I'm gonna go to. They're already thinking college, and we talking about going to the football game Friday. So next, how much does it pay? That thing that you like to do, how much does it pay in the workforce? That's a consideration. I mean, if it's a job that don't pay a lot, I'm not saying not to do it, because there's a lot of people, like case in point, and I hate to say this, school teachers don't get paid a lot, but they love what they do. So they'll take the pay that comes with doing something that they love, okay? And they gotta go to school, and a lot of them just to be a teacher, right? They gotta get certifications, right, to be a teacher. Next, how much does it cost to get trained to do that? Okay, maybe you're not going to college. Maybe you're going to a trade school. Maybe you're going to, maybe you're just getting a certification. How much does it cost? Okay. And then lastly, what is the market for that locally? Whatever it is that you would like to do, is that something that they do where you live at? If it's not, then are you willing to relocate? Are you willing to move to go somewhere else? I know a lot of people who do that. So don't be afraid to move either. Okay. So, you will be able to easily transfer your skills to the job immediately if you're doing something that you really enjoy. Okay. So from the school to the job, you'll be able to easily transfer that because you're learning something that you love to do and you do it on your off time, the whole nine. It's going to be just seamless. You're just going right into a job. Okay. Now let's go over some mindset stuff. Okay. Your aspirations, your goals, the things that you really like doing, keep those things to yourself. Young people, keep that to yourself, man. We've heard the stories, man, all these dream stealers, all these people telling you what you shouldn't do. And man, you do what you want to do. You do what motivates you. You do what inspires you. You don't do what your friend, you don't not do something because your friends say, that's not smart. So, I always say, keep your aspirations to yourself, until you're well on your way. If you're going to tell somebody, wait until you're well on your way to, well on your way. And then you might say, hey, yeah, this is what I'm doing, just so y'all know. Okay. And yeah, how long you been doing that? For 2 years. What? 2 years? Yep, 2 years. Man, why am I just finding out? Because I need to keep this to myself. Okay. And not all your friends and family are going to be on your side. They're not. Your friends, especially your friends, the ones who ain't doing nothing, they want you to stay where they're at. Crab in the barrel. Oh, you trying to go do something with your life? No, man, I need you to hang out with me because I ain't doing nothing. Okay, misery loves company. And then some would say, man, you paying all that money just to get a job? Yep. If it's going to better my life, if it's going to increase my income over the course of my life, I'm willing to sacrifice my time and my efforts. And keep this in mind, some jobs will pay for some of your education. It depends on the job and depends on, what your grades look like. They're willing to pay to train you, to get you educated so that you can come back and bring those skill sets back with you. So keep that in mind, okay? Next thing, keep your why squarely in front of you. Your why. What is your why? Your why is, why do you want this? Okay, the ones that's already out of high school and out here in this world. Maybe you have a kid, or maybe you have children. Maybe you have a family already, a wife and kids, or a kid. That's your why. Why do I need to do this? Because my family deserves the best. They deserve the best, and I need to be able to provide that. Okay, and if you believe that your family deserves the best, then why are you not willing to go out here and do the things necessary to put you and your family in the best position to succeed? So keep that in mind too, okay? And your why will comfort you when things go bad. It will. It's gonna comfort you because when you tired and you still got 2 chapters to read and you gotta write a 10-page paper, whatever. Guess what? That why is gonna say, hey, we're doing this for the kids, or we're doing this for this. If you do this, the people at the job already said that you're gonna get promoted. That's why. That's why you're doing it. It'll comfort you. It'll keep you motivated. Okay. And lastly, remind yourself that your lifelong income will increase. Okay, your lifelong income is going to increase because of your education. College grads make more than high school, people with a high school diploma. Plain and simple. You got a bachelor's degree, you're making more. If you got an associate's degree, you're making more than high school. If you got a trade school diploma, you're making more than high school. Okay? And last but not least, if you have certifications, you're going to make more than someone who just went to high school, who's just out here in the world with no certifications. Lifelong income is going to go up because of the skills and the education that you have. Okay, so as I close this out, let me leave you with this. And I've said this before in other videos, and I'm going to continue to beat this drum. And that is that your 65-year-old self is waiting and watching. I like to use that age because no one can see themselves at 65 years old when you're in your 20s. But let me tell you this, your 65-year-old self is waiting and watching. And when you get to 65, if God bless you with air in your lungs, when you get to 65, you're going to say one or two things to you. You're going to say, thank you for doing the work to put us in a good position in our old age. Or they're going to say, what the hell you been doing? You had 45 years? You had 45 years and we living in a basket? We living in a shopping cart? You had 45 years? You see what I'm saying? Put yourself in the best position to succeed. Make a determination of what you want in life and get the skills to help you get there. And that's all you have to do. People, I made some very good decisions in my life, but I made them because I had someone like me, for you right now, who told me something that I just said, you know what? I'm going to take a chance to just do what they say. And I'm glad I listened. I'm glad I listened, because the life I live now and the things that I'm able to afford and my lifestyle, I'm not rich by far, but what I am is very, very comfortable. And that's a good feeling for me. It's a good feeling because I have a wife, I have a family, and it's a good feeling as a man to be able to take care of your family. Okay. So I'm gonna get out of here. And as I always say, man, continue to think so you can grow. And until I see you in the next video, y'all be blessed. Peace.